It's the Chartographers.
Hello, everybody. This is the Chartographers. As you can tell, it's the Happy Hour Minisode, guys. And because
what's the song where he goes loo 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 loo?
Is that not the point?
No, I think it's. We'll get back to it.
All right.
I'll look at the track list and find it.
So, in case you don't know, we're the Chartographers. It's a Happy Hour Minisode. We just finished ranking all the albums of Harry Nilsson. It's me, Evan Sadi. It's co-creator Taran O'Reilly. It's our two all-star guests, John Harvey and Jessie Sciaccotta. Welcome back, guys.
I think it's think about your troubles at the end. He goes ooh at the end.
He does do that, but that's not what I'm thinking of.
Right.
You're so close. Thank you for the attempt.
If you get a chance, listen to the ranking episodes of Harry Nilsson that we just did. They're really good. I was very happy with it. It was a nice discussion. But here we are, Happy Hour Minisode. Let's do the thing we do at the top of every Happy Hour Minisode. I can't wait to ask this question. Guys, what's the worst Harry Nilsson song?
Making Whoopee.
Making Whoopee.
I like that off of that. That's the least worst of that terrible.
Okay, but wouldn't it be better if he didn't sing it like a fucking dirge, like every other fucking song on that album? That song is funny.
Yeah.
And it should be funny, and instead he sings it like all the other standards on Touch of Schmilson. And
you know how I think he should have sung it? Back to back and belly to belly.
You know what? You know what? That would have been more entertaining.
In terms of actual...
Moonshine Bandit. Moonshine Bandit is in the running, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if it counts, but Joy or Spaceman.
Joy, definitely.
Joy is just, I mean, half of it's not a song.
Yeah.
It's just like this weird spoken word.
You don't want to be a joy boy.
Oh, well, also, for me, Flying Saucer song.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
That's
sort of a
gimme.
gimme, but it's just, it's
I gotta be
idiotic.
honest, the way he just rolls into that fucking chorus of Sail Away off, that's the way it is. Oh my god. Sail away! I'm like, ugh.
Black Sails is just like, that's a fucking dirge,
It's
man.
rough. That's a hard one.
I mean, I like dark shit, but that's,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Alright, so I think we all said what we need to say, right? Around worst song? Okay. Harry Nilsson has had a life, though, aside from his 3 wives and other, like, crazy things that have gone on.
And his 7 children.
Yeah, 6 from one of those wives. Like, it's been a goddamn journey.
The last one.
Yeah. So one, of course, you can't talk about Harry Nilsson without talking about his connection to the Beatles, because, like, aside from the love fest that went on, he connected a lot with fucking Ringo early on.
Yeah, Ringo was best man at his last wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made Son of Dracula together.
Yeah.
The movie I didn't even know existed until a couple years ago.
Yeah. And no
like,
one needs to know it existed, quite frankly. Let's
terrible,
be honest.
awful, homemade movie that is Son of Dracula.
And for all the listeners, because I know you're wondering this, I did in fact message Questlove on Instagram to see what he thinks about Harry Nilsson being a hip-hop dude. I'm sure he's going to get back to me any minute, guys. We're tight.
It's going to happen live during the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, but actually, how amazing would that be?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Stay tuned.
Listen, Chartographers were once retweeted by Stephen Droz, so we are working on something here.
He made a podcast after. You guys made a podcast.
Okay, but one of the things that was mentioned about, because we watched the Harry Nilsson documentary, I didn't realize one of the...
Daybreak. I want to say Daybreak off of Son of Dracula is a fucking awesome song that is should have been on Son of Schmilson or something around that era. So
Alright.
check it out.
Cool, check it out. The JC Corner. Cool.
Yes.
Hip-hop. But the other thing is that during the documentary, they bring out... I guess who was John Lennon's then girlfriend during his Lost weekend when he was
when he was
taking a separation from Yoko, and during which this time Harry, a little bit burnt out, they just went and fucking drank and destroyed everything.
John Lennon's fabled Lost Weekend.
Yes. Including apparently when they went into a Smothers Brothers show at a comedy club and had to be kicked out because they were fighting with people and just making fun of them. Yeah, and the thing is, like, Harry was on the fucking Smothers Brothers shows. We watched a televised appearance, like, back in the day.
They liked the Smothers Brothers. They just thought it was like, they thought that was funny.
They thought they were adding to the show.
Harry's just fucking around is like, they do better when you give him a hard time.
Yeah.
He's like...
they're just like plastered. It's just...
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
John wasn't really a good. I think I said this before, but
Yeah.
John wasn't really a good influence.
Yeah,
on
I mean, there was-
Harry, I don't think. Well,
I think John was just not a good influence in general.
Yeah,
he had
I
a
think-
lot of demons, and those demons broke up the Beatles and then fucked
Well,
over.
they had
all
very
the-
similar childhoods, and like their whole story, like up to that point, was very similar.
Yeah.
John was abandoned by his father.
And
So it was,
also,
you know,
there's like a lot of problems that come when they try to. There's many problems that come when they try to impress each other. I feel
Yeah.
they stuff like
Yeah.
they're saying like Harry Nilsson was like throwing like bricks through like apartment windows afterwards, and I think it was like literally only to like crack up John, like super like elementary school stuff.
He's my buddy. Yeah.
well,
Like like it's
he
funny.
worshipped the Beatles.
Yeah.
and
But then
that's
again,
kinda-
like the Beatles come up so much because, of course, Without You wasn't a song that he did. It was originally a Badfinger song. Badfinger is probably one of the most infamous signees to Apple Records back in the day. A group that they shepherded in. Paul McCartney wrote songs for him, and also Paul McCartney wanted Nilsson to write the Puppy song off of Goddamn Harry because he had signed a new artist and he wanted a single for her. She was 19 years old, and Puppy song was one of those songs. Yeah.
But that makes sense, though. You think about the songs that Paul used to write for Ringo. You know, fucking. I mean, obviously Paul sang
Yellow
Yellow Submarine
Submarine
himself, but oh no, Ringo
Ringo
wrote
sang
Yeah.
Yellow Submarine.
Octopus's Garden?
Ringo wrote Octopus's Garden.
Okay,
Yeah.
but still, children's songs
Yeah.
is what they were doing.
Yeah.
And then when you look at like Cuddly Toy, which has a dark twist, but on the surface sounds
Yeah.
like a children's song. When
Yes.
you get Daddy's Song, like
Well,
these.
Monkeys covers.
They're kind of Ringo songs a
They're,
little bit.
they're
yeah.
Ringo's totally.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, the Monkees probably wanted Ringo songs.
Yeah.
Basically,
To be
the
fair,
Monkees
though-
were a pale covered imitation of the Beatles.
Not
Yeah.
disagreeing with that, but to be fair, like Cuddly Toy does perfectly line up with all the other shit that the Monkees were writing. Like it's a pretty Monkees-ish song.
For sure.
Yeah,
But I just
yeah.
mean, it makes sense that, especially once he became friends with Paul, that Paul would be like, you
Yeah.
can write one of
Yeah.
these songs that I like.
Yeah.
These piddly little, completely inoffensive, not about romance, which I think,
Yeah.
you know, as we know, most songs are about.
I think like it's such a big part of Nilsson also. I think ultimately, other than like maybe Nilsson Schmilsson and some other songs here and there, is kind of a dude that has always appealed more to musicians, artists, critics. I think like even like that's why like JC would end up like liking maybe some of that later work, because I feel like that's the case with a lot of people when you feel like. People who like an artist's back catalog, I feel like it's more like for other artists and shit, and it's like appeals to them even if it's like not as much to the public. There's just stuff there that's like maybe like too in the know, or like not as like widely accessible.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's part of it too as well, is that he had that artistic thing, but you gotta keep in mind, RCA, we wanted to like fucking drop him after a while, because Nilsson Schmilsson made Bang.
They did drop
Yeah,
him.
that and Son of Schmilsson both went gold. But like there was a part where his contract was about to end, and that's when John Lennon like went to bat for him, walked into the RCA offices.
Which album was that after specifically? That was after Pussycat.
I want to say it was
Yes.
after Pussycat.
Okay, but
yeah.
if you had gotten the Schmilsson albums, and then the next two albums that this artist turned in were A Little Touch of Schmilsson and Pussycats, wouldn't you try to drop him?
Yeah.
And 74 is like basically like a sea change year for music.
Well, and
That's like the first
especially-
disco year. Like
Yeah.
the singer-songwriter guys, they
Yeah.
like they signed in the early
And
70s, late
especially-
60s were kind of like on the way out.
Yeah.
If he had
So-
started recording Do It on Monday and they were hearing the sessions, and they
They're
were
like,
like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
We're
we
not gonna
gotta
sell this.
we gotta get out of this.
I think even regardless of what you think of the quality of those later albums, they are not late 70s albums.
Nope.
no, they aren't.
They're like
Nope.
they really are kind of
Ex-
out of time.
Except that's the way it is. It's sort of that has like kind of an influence, but that album also kind of sucks. So there you go.
as discussed in the
Yeah.
previous episode.
That's the only one I could say that I flat out don't really like at all.
So, I mean, we know a little bit about his biography, too, and we kind of mentioned a little bit how he recorded A Little Touch of Schmilsson in the Night because he felt like that was the last time he's going to be able to preserve his voice, and then during Pussycats, he fucking destroyed his goddamn voice due to John Lennon just constantly egging him on.
Yeah.
why did he want to sabotage his career? Like, we talk about how psychologically he kind of wanted to, maybe?
I think he's always had been a self-destructive guy, and I think after just achieving everything that he had dreamed of for the most part...
Which Nilsson basically did, number one Grammy nods.
And I think it would... I mean, sorry to play total armchair psychologist, but like also you end up achieving all that, and you're still Harry Nilsson. You know, I think you still have all the demons, and I think that's like what tweaked him out about it, is that like, I think he did it, and... he was still the same person. I don't think he ever...
It's like Kurt Cobain or any of those guys.
And
I
then,
think being famous or whatever, successful is going to solve all their problems, and then it doesn't.
It just enhances all the
and
problems.
then, you know...
Wait, you still have all the problems, but now everyone's watching you have those problems.
Yeah.
And I think it's also, I think the bigger thing was, imagine trying to follow up this success to Nilsson Schmilsson.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's also, like, I imagine when he recorded it, like, I could easily see being an album, like, hey, this is really good, not thinking it's going to be this groundbreaking thing, and then you get there and people are like, hey, this is one of the best albums of the year, everybody wants to know what you're doing. Like, I mean, like, because some of these are, like, I imagine, like, Jump Into the Fire probably isn't a track that you just go and sit down one day and write. I imagine it's, like, a thing that comes from some jamming out of nowhere, just, like, left field inspiration. And I think that's kind of the case with most of it, that somebody's like, hey, do it again.
Yeah.
And I think another thing about Nilsson Schmilsson, in a way it is, like, kind of an anomaly because it is, like, so focused. But based on the things I've read and I've seen, I mean, him and Richard Perry, like, you know, it was not, like, they were not always on the same page, and I think really maybe Harry, if he had it his way, it would have been a much like all over the place kind of album, which is maybe why Son of Schmilsson is Son of Schmilsson, because it's like, this is the album I really wanted to make before.
Yeah. But also,
which is like this crazy fucking, you know.
To Harvey's point, though, like, with the success of a straightforward, for the most part, pop rock album, what are you going to do? Another straightforward-ish? Like, Richard Perry, he wanted to absolutely continue on in that vein, but he's like...
He wanted the same thing, but better, basically.
Right, and that's the one, I didn't even mention during the podcast, but the one thing I do have a lot of respect for is that, for the most part, Nilsson never recorded the same album twice. Like, there's vibes, there's carryovers.
The songwriting is sort of similar, but I actually agree with you. I mean, maybe the early ones are a little samey, but they do have kind of different vibes.
The production, at least, has always had differences to it. Like, I think Aerial Ballet is like a very kind of more produced, it has like a nice, very pretty sheen to it. Then you get to Harry, and it's raw. You're not really mixing the tracks as much. You're not doing that reverb. I think the point is like the point like has its like own unique vibe to it. I think when you get to it, like at least even if he's repeating shit, I think at least the atmosphere and the production qualities and the engineering have their own degrees and like their own qualities to it.
Absolutely. And I think that's part of why he thought he could get away with that sort of thing, you know, sort of reusing things that had been successful for him in the past, was because when he was going into each of these recording sessions, he did have a different idea of what he wanted the end product of the album to be. And so he could take the foundation of another song that he had already used and put a different song over it, and it would still, like, take the new album in a different direction.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, just, like, there's... we should probably just also talk about the documentary. I feel like we also probably took enough fucking pointers and ripped enough stuff from it. But man, that's like, it's a really great documentary. I think even just also as a tribute to a person, I think there's some like editing tricks that I'm like, okay, buddy. Yeah. But like there's I think as a tribute to a human being, like I think it's like one of the best you could make.
Well, the people they got on the thing.
So that was, you're exactly correct. I'm so glad you said that. It reminded me of, I was literally screaming at the TV the third time they had a photograph of Harry with a person and someone that he cut out of his life, and then that person fades out of the image and it's just Harry with like his arms sticking out, like where it used to be around somebody, and I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, yes, I get it. He had his demons. He sometimes was just like, I'm done with this person, and never spoke to them again.
Yeah.
Which, especially...
It was a motif.
By, you know, with modern standards, with everyone who's like, cut out toxic people, like, that sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you look at someone and you're like, this isn't working for me, and you just have to stop. But the fucking fade outs, man.
And also,
I couldn't handle it. I was like, "Are you kidding
I
me?"
mean, filmmaking wise, it's not like the greatest documentary ever. I mean, it's shot on like kind of like
it's a pretty cheap cameras.
Yeah.
Also, wasn't it made in like '95? Right?
No,
after
I think it was 2010.
Yeah.
Wait,
roughly.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to believe with like the
it
quality.
was shot earlier, but
Some of it was. I also have some issues because the person that was originally going to do it, I'm kind of a slight admirer of. Curtis Armstrong plays Booger and fucking what Revenge of the Nerds.
Really? Oh,
But he
nice.
was supposed to do it because he was kind of associated in like he did like the original interview with Robin Williams, like that was him, and then the producer of that I think kind of fucked him over. And kind of took the reins of the production, but they, I think like I'm just another editing trick that's like really weird when like
just shit all over this documentary.
where Harry was pissed, and it cuts to like a picture of Harry with like an extreme red hue, and like they
Totally. Yes, they used the red tints all the time.
Oh, they
It was
just-
just like. And they were having a really rough period, and then it goes and it's like poof, red.
But they got Yoko Ono, they got Eric Idle, they got May fucking Pang.
That's the crazy. That's
Like,
what I gotta
what?
give them credit for.
And
Was
the
May
guy,
Pang.
and
Like,
his
I would've-
original producer that he was like,
Al Gerard.
Rick Gerard.
Rick Gerard. Yeah.
Who produced Jefferson Airplane and a bunch of other people
And
first.
he- which album did he drop?
First two. Oh, after
Harry. He does some stuff on Harry, yeah.
So like it was partway through Harry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that it says a lot that obviously he brought in other producers for That's the Way It Is. And
Well, Harry
Flash
ultimately.
Harry, but
Well,
like
Harry
as far
produced
as-
himself after Pussycats for the most part.
Right, besides those two that I just
Yeah,
mentioned.
yeah.
But I think that it says a lot that his best albums that we all agreed on are Aerial Ballet and Nilsson Schmielsen when he has someone else
Yes.
not necessarily even calling shots the whole time, but it's just someone else giving him suggestions, giving him direction.
Yeah.
Because he was a very incredible technical performer. He was a really strong songwriter, but he didn't always have that auteur's ear where he could take the song and finish it. And I think that he really benefited from having a collaborator, but he just didn't. He was too, bullheaded to let that happen most of the time.
Sometimes you need that person, that outside person to kind of...
Which is also kind of why I also really like the Nilsson Sings Newman one. I know it's not necessarily his songs, but I think just because he's also trying to do right by Newman, I think, and also just the songs themselves, I think there is just like a more completed quality, and I think it's like I don't think he's trying, it's not like really kind of throwing things against the wall to see what sticks for the most part.
Well, I mean, similar to that end, though, in terms of, like, the control of the songs, let's talk about Harry Nilsson covers. Because there's a lot throughout history. I mean, the obvious one, of course, is Three Dog Night, when they fucking went ahead and did...
That's kind of what made him.
One, right, exactly. And, like, they took that to number one, right, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a chart topper. Number two, number one at number two.
Number twos are better than number one anyways.
Exactly.
It's kind of true.
No, it's a trend.
Yeah. And then, of course, I remember one, also was covered by Amy Mann wonderfully on the Magnolia soundtrack. I remember that as well.
A very obscure one, because I don't think there's a official recording of it, but I know that Jump Into the Fire was frequently covered by LCD Sound System Live. If you watch the Madison Square Garden concert,
Final concert,
which the concert is amazing, the documentary is bullshit.
Yeah, documentary sucks.
I have a lot of problems.
It's like
with
him
it.
staring
Chuck
at the cat,
Klosterman
dude.
wants
It's
to verbally jerk you off? Cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Hey, Chuck Klosterman, how about you read my Wikipedia page to me and put it in question format? So they do. Yeah, that's like one that just like weird places in indie rock where they showed up. Like I think Nilsson would have like shit his pants if he would have seen like LCD Sound System cover Jump Into the Fire.
Yeah.
I have a weird one. Here's a song you guys have probably heard before, but you might not know it was a Harry Nilsson song. Let me tell you about my best friend.
Really love that.
That's a Harry Nilsson song.
Yeah,
Never
for
recorded it, though.
The Courtship of Mr. Eddie's Father.
Yes.
Yes, that classic.
Why did he never
ABC
make a full
sitcom.
version of that? I love that fucking song.
Yeah.
So, but that's been used like, mostly ironically, but in a lot of
He also wrote the screenplay for the Whoopi Goldberg movie, The
Did
Telephone.
he use that in the Best Friend song?
Yes.
That horn line that you were just singing, which is also in
Daddy song.
Daddy's song.
There are a lot of
literally the same
Not
thing.
to be rude, but there are kind of a lot of nobodies in this Harry Nilsson tribute album that came out in '95.
Yeah, well, the whole thing, I guess, was
What
started
did
by
they do? I don't
Randy,
even know this exists.
by Randy
95.
Newman because he wanted to do an album of him covering Harry songs after Harry did him.
That would be
And-
a tough one to do.
Right, but he actually started doing it, and he's like, I can't do this, and that's why he started bringing other people in, because,
This is a really weird one. There's a
So
lot
it's
of
a Randy
nobodies.
Newman curated.
Check,
Yes.
Yeah,
covers
check this
album?
one. There's a Me and My Arrow by Adrian Belew.
Yeah,
What-
yeah,
I kinda
Wow.
I gotta hear that.
Wow.
It's not as
Is this
dark
him
as you
shredding?
think it
Is this him
is. No,
shredding?
he's not. He's not. He's just singing on it. Yeah.
I just want to hear a version, like an all-instrumental guitar version.
Jimmy Webb does.
Adrian Belew, you know, Adrian Belew's the guitar player, just like the weird guitar noises in Remain
He was
in
in
Light.
Talking Heads.
Oh,
Ray and Light
Ray
Band.
and Light. Okay.
And he
Yeah,
also was in
and,
King Crimson.
And what Bowie albums? He was in a couple
Yeah.
of Bowie. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
So, good stuff.
Can we talk about Aerial Pandemonium Ballet?
Yes,
Yeah,
I know JC wanted
yeah.
to talk about that a little bit.
Because
It's his favorite album.
I'm happy we didn't rank it, but I did listen to it this week, and it really is, you can really hear how inspired and confident he is at this point.
Almost too confident at times.
A little bit, sure.
Because,
but-
the version of Daddy's Song in there, because the original version of Daddy's Song, His Story of a Man, and then on the fucking Aerial Pandemonium, His Story of a Man, and it's just like, whoa, dude, this is the
Yeah.
first line of the song. You are going into
Well,
the atmosphere.
I think he just rewrote the melody a little bit to show off his voice more, but he does repeat the melody that he rewrote.
Yeah.
But also you're also not totally remembering the melody correctly, because in the original version it doesn't go back up, it just keeps going down. And so I think that the new version of Daddy's is the story of a man.
Everything you can.
Anyway,
Yeah,
but I really like the new version on Pandemonium Ballet because it's so much more impactful, because it's really him showing off.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And I think-
absolutely.
And I think because his voice was so good in this period, I love listening to, even if all of the new versions aren't better, they're still at least interesting. If you're a fan of Nilsson, I think that remix album of his first two, after he had the confidence of some success, is more essential than most of the albums post Son of Schmilsson.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a fascinating.
It's the
kinda
first remix
curio.
album. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still. I don't know if controversial is the right word, but some people I don't think they like that he did that. It's kind of like when George Lucas remastered Star Wars. You know what I mean?
He Hayden Christensen his own album.
Yeah. He kind of did, and so people are like, "Well, what the fuck? Why would you fix something that
It was
isn't
so good
broke?"
the first time.
Yeah, but
Is that
Especially with the aerial ballet songs, most of the time I'm like, I didn't need a new version.
Yeah.
Is that what got you down, Pussycat? You're listening to Harry Nilsson and he redid his songs to show off his voice. Did you like his documentary, but his photos faded out? Weird people in his life he didn't name anymore? Well, rise up! Get his new album, Pussycats! Out now on RCA Records and Tapes.
meow.
Meow and purr.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel, it's one of those things where, I feel bad for him in his life story, but also, it kind of,
He had a fucked up childhood.
he had a
did.
fucked up child.
You ever heard his going across the country story when he hitchhiked across America when he was 15?
No.
That's not in the documentary for some reason, but he gets picked up by truck drivers and they ditch him in Mexico.
Jesus Christ.
Then he has to find enough pesos to get back across the border.
Mhm.
It's a fucking batshit crazy story because something happened. He got kicked out of a house somewhere in New York and he had to move back with his mom in L.A. He went from New York to L.A. back to New York 2 different
800
times. Yeah, crazy.
He's like Steely Dan.
He lived in poverty, crazy.
What
What Midnight Cowboy? Midnight Cowboy?
I guess I never fully processed the first time when I watched that documentary is like when they said that like he had to rob a convenience store to pay the rent. Like I just like it kind of like flew by me, but like this time watching like whoa like shit
Whoa,
like
what happened was his mom used to write bum checks.
Yeah.
Because they were basically in poverty.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you know, and she used to write a lot of bum checks, and she was in jail. So he basically they needed like $700 or something for the rent. Maybe it wasn't that much back then. I don't know what it was. It was like $70. It was like $70 or something, but they needed $70. And so he stuck up a gas station or whatever, and you know, it was a close call because there was like a copper out there. But yeah, that's
I thought the story was like it was like $17 or something.
It might have been that much. It was
like
something.
it
wasn't very much.
Like,
Well, I think he needed more, but didn't get what he needed when he robbed it. I think was the deal.
oh, I see. I thought
he got just enough of what he needed.
Right, I thought he
got it,
asked for like a very specific amount. He was like, I need $17.60.
Yeah, that is, and then he literally like something happened where it's like he dropped some of it, or like he didn't get as much as he couldn't really count it or whatever, and then but then he like went to the whatever the landlord or whatever, and it was like exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, but then again, I also feel bad for him though because he also ended his life in poverty too. Because I guess
I think he came back before. I don't think.
Yeah.
He started peddling his songs again and like getting
he went bankrupt.
Because, but literally, no, the person who was his financial person who was actually managing all of the funds for his fucking songwriting royalties embezzled all of it, leaving him with $300. That person went to jail but never paid restitutions for some goddamn reason.
Yeah, that's the legal system.
I mean, I think also it looked like, at least I feel like his family still at least occasionally makes money from like, you know, what was it, Without You was like still shows up on random ass commercials.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He was recording a comeback album actually at the time he died that was done.
Yeah, he finished his vocals,
But I think it might have been even a little more than that. And his vocals were done, and maybe the album wasn't mixed or whatever, but it was done, and we've never heard it. I don't know.
Which really, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like you can find tracks of it online.
Yeah, I heard like stuff that
it was never released though.
But here's the thing: we are the Chartographers. We are a cultural institution. Stephen Drost and maybe Questlove know who we are. Use your leverage, fans. Campaign #Harry Nilsson album now. Make it happen. Nilsson now.
The one thing, even though like
Nilsson.
most of them like don't turn out good, I still would have liked to have seen like the cliche thing where you get like the young hot and up and comer like teams up with like Harry Nilsson like in like the 2000s to like try and make an album like that. Like I feel.
Who would that be now?
I don't know.
Danger Mouse.
I feel like he
would. I feel like he wouldn't have made. He wouldn't have made it now, but I think if he made it to like the 2000s, I feel like you could have maybe done like the James Murphy produced
like 2004.
one.
Yeah,
I'm trying. Yeah, 2004. Fucking.
I feel like Rick Rubin would want to have a crack at it, and it'd be terrible.
Oh,
yeah, I just feel like, or if he could have like teamed up with maybe some like high prominent indie artist or something like that, or
like have a band like do it, like Stephen Malkmus and the Jicks back,
or even he just like he works like on a different song with a different artist, which would have probably actually sucked even more.
Yeah.
But like, I just feel like you could have. I feel like once you get to like 2000s, like indie rock, especially some of the twee shit, I think there's like more room for like.
Oh my god, you guys!
What?
Nilsson does Sufjan.
I could actually see those two.
At least
right?
In a weird way.
The whimsy.
Yeah.
The whimsy and them taking themselves both seriously and not seriously at all.
I just feel like you could have probably found some like interesting setup where I feel like I just think like because he became like such kind of like a name check kind of dude for like record collectors and music nerds, you know?
Yeah.
His voice was fucking shit.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you think it was bad, like post Pussycats, it was.
Also, I mean, I think his voice
was
still really good, but I think also there was eventually you just sort of hit diminishing returns from age. I mean, like before he even shot out of his voice, like once he gets to Nilsson Schmilsson. It's kind of in that really amazing Kermit the Frog kind of voice versus like his like youthful like 18-year-old voice, like the willow weeps in the kind of set, and then eventually like he's like like he kind of gets the old man voice.
I don't know. Sometimes when he's so youthful, it's not my favorite.
Okay,
I prefer his mid period.
I definitely prefer his mid period because always think that a more mature voice is more effective when it's a mature voice that's been taken care of. Like, just imagine if he hadn't blown that shit out. Imagine how good like Nilsson or Sandman would have been.
He would have
with like real full Nilsson multi-octave vocals happening.
And then instead you'd see artists like doing duets with him instead of Tom Jones.
Yeah. Infrared semen coming through.
That might be
the
part of
night.
the reason he made Aerial Pandemonium. Maybe he didn't like the way his voice sounded on the other records compared to like
once he
his-
discovered that
like
he had
in
that
a way,
register,
like maybe
yeah.
he thought that was a more authentic version of his voice. I don't know.
I love that because I just don't think I've ever heard anybody that sounds remotely close to that type of to his type of voice that he had for those first 2 albums.
Early Bowie.
Bowie
Davy
now.
Jones.
Wait, totally not. Bowie's
Also,
too British
also
for that.
listen, Bowie, he
Okay,
could not
no.
mouth trumpet for
If
shit.
You,
Yeah.
If you remove the Britishness from Bowie,
It's also just not that high.
It's in the same like nasal area though. That same like smiley twee like I'm so jaunty.
Yeah, but like it still like lacks like I think, but also with like that type of capability. I mean, like maybe like some of the Beatles stuff, but even then, like I just don't think it's like the same type of tone that he had at like that like early 20s phase. Just in terms of like, I don't know. I personally don't think there's much to compare.
Well, I think he
Harry
also
Nilsson could join the gang.
it's also definitely
Should just
it's
join the
a
Monkees.
song by song basis too, which I
Yeah.
think is why I also prefer the mid period because he is consistently just singing beautifully, whereas I feel like on the first couple albums he experimented with voices. He did characters sometimes, like he was almost a little more chameleonic and did a vocal take that the song called for, whereas I feel like in those mid albums he was just like letting his voice open up, letting him like being virtuosic and acrobatic.
I feel like in the middle albums there's less like production with his voice than on the early records.
Mm-hmm.
Early records, it's more like here's like 10 of me.
Yeah.
But ultimately, in the end, I just also don't think, in terms of like the full spectrum of talent, there's really like maybe 2 or 3 other people that I think really could compete with his abilities. Like in terms of like the full package, quality, range, intensity, and ability. Like I think you've got like
Like, do you mean vocally or
vocally,
Just the
overall?
whole
vocally.
thing.
Just
Well,
a little. I mean, for me personally,
Not
just,
many singer-songwriters can fucking sing like this.
just like I think these like between like Freddie Mercury and like Whitney Houston we were talking about, I think are the only people. Like, sure, you may have somebody that can maybe sing more intensely or has more
Mariah
range,
Carey,
but
yeah.
I think as like the full package, like I think those is the only 2 competition that he really has.
There are very few guys, I think, who wrote hit songs for other people who
I don't
could
know.
sing better than the
Like
fucking
who would
people
you
who
who
had
would you
hit
say
songs.
is above
I
that?
respect him a lot, but I just don't put him vocally in that same echelon.
So
I
who would
just-
you put there then?
He's an amazing
you're,
vocalist.
I mean, you're comparing him to Whitney fucking Houston.
Yeah.
Like,
Well-
no, it's apples and oranges. Like, sure, again, technically
This
he
is
is
why-
very skilled, but he just doesn't have the texture, which is
Totally
something that
does.
you can't teach.
I mean,
I
Whitney
just-
has like one texture kind of.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You're
Don't
not.
get me
You're
started
wrong.
on
Oh my
Whitney.
god, you didn't do the Whitney episode. I
I'm-
don't
I'm with
think
John.
she has one.
Wow.
like you guys.
This is what's up. This is why you can't debate with singers.
He's
like,
very. I am a singer.
that's what I'm saying. You can't
Yeah.
debate with them. They'll be like, "No, this person that's perfect. Let me tell you why you can't."
I'm not saying.
I get what Taran is saying, but I
I'm
do think
saying that I don't
Nilsson
think
was
he's-
virtuosic.
I don't think he's that interesting of a vocalist. I really don't. I think that he's like the Jessie J of the early 70s.
Ooh.
He has a lot of he
Drop the mic.
he has a lot of skill, but his personality does not come through in his vocals as much unless he's playing a character. When he's singing ballads, it's like it's good, and there are certain ballads where he knocks it out of the park, but a lot of times he's just singing a song, and you get that across his whole discography.
Sure.
I know the point you're trying to make. I guess I just disagree with it.
I just don't know. Like then, like for me, then it's like, well, then who? Like who?
Well,
yeah. If like that's not good, then everything's shit.
Luciano Pavarotti, Michael Bublé, Lil Pump. You know, there's a certain like degree of.
I'm not
people.
saying he's not good. I'm just saying you're giving him a little too much
I
credit.
think he deserved the credit. I mean, I'm not saying
I mean, without you, everybody's talking.
Okay,
My thing is,
without you, he shows incredible range and he belts the shit out of it, and he emotes too. But it could be sung by other people and it would be just as good.
Yeah,
Without
like Mariah Carey.
yeah, Mariah Carey.
Yeah, solve the fucking issue right there.
I hate Mariah.
You know what?
I think we can say that Mariah Carey was the best vocalist to ever exist.
She's basically like Harry Nilsson without a penis. That's really all it is. Let's be real. Also, guys, we're getting to a real dark place with our conversation, so I'm just gonna go ahead and 35 minutes in. I'm gonna cut us off here at the hilt, if that's okay, unless anyone else
getting
has...
feisty.
He's getting feisty. But seriously, though, guys, thank you so much for being on our fucking Harry Nilsson journey. I appreciate it so much. Fans, I know you have probably a lot of comments, and we want to know who you think is the best fucking technical vocalist of all time. Put that in the comments.
Not even of all time. Of the 70s.
The 70s.
Yeah.
Do that. Also, throw us on Twitter at the Chartographers or thechartographers@gmail.com. Find us on our Facebook. That's probably the easiest, though. Let us know. Throw a ranking on iTunes if you feel like it. Again, I have a cookie in my pocket. Most importantly, though, thank you so much for listening. I really want you to keep on listening.
Go watch Skidoo.
Because you know there will be Watch Skidoo, apparently.
No, don't.
And maybe Popeye if you're feeling particularly sad for yourself. But hey, the credit songs on both, amazing. Guys, thank you so much. Goodbye.
He needs me as big. By the way.
And good night.